Hey, welcome back. We're still at the end of day 3. It looks like still nursing a mechanical injury, but was able to take a motoring and hobble another 1.5 miles up the trail on the side of the road where I'm supposed to be picked up. And at that point, I'll head home and see what the doctor has to say about whether we continue the through hike portion of this or whether we have to do it by section. But while I'm sitting here, instead of feeling sorry for myself, I thought, you know what, there's a great teachable moment here. Let me get out of the wind and we'll talk a little bit about combustion. For those of you who are learning about combustion, combustion is a reaction in which a substance reacts with oxygen, during which time heat and light are often produced. So if you feel heat or you see light or even smoke, then there's a good indication a chemical reaction has just occurred. In this instance, we'd call that chemical reaction combustion. When you talk a little bit about the vocabulary, we're talking some about heat, which is the transfer of one object to another and due to differences in temperature. And again, heat transfers from areas that are hotter to areas that are colder. So you kind of want to get out of the fire. That will continue until both objects become the same temperature, which is then called thermal equilibrium. And we keep throwing around the word temperature, so let's go ahead and talk about that. It's nothing more than a measure of how hot or how cold something is compared to a certain reference point. That reference point might be on the Kelvin scale, the Celsius scale, or the Fahrenheit scale. And then light itself is produced also from this chemical reaction. Light is nothing more than a form of electromagnetic radiation. We can use light for a lot of things, one of which out here in the woods, very important, is to be able to use what's called a photon stereo pen, and you can use that to purify water sources. It takes a while to do a lot of water, but certainly not a little bit of water, perhaps like a glass of water or something like that if you were traveling somewhere. So those are the things that we have to talk about, and one of the best ways I think we can demonstrate that is by using an old-fashioned flint and steel and some tinder to demonstrate how we might start this combustion reaction. Now, you know, there are 3 things that are needed in order to start this combustion reaction. In order for it to occur, you've got to have fuel, something to burn. And in this instance, I've got some tinder here, and this is just nothing more than what they call oakum tinder. It's kind of fuzzy. And then you have to have oxygen. It's all around us. But there are things that we can do to increase oxygen or to increase how much oxygen our fuel gets. So we take this tinder and we fluff it up even more, increasing the surface area. And by increasing the surface area of the tinder, we increase its exposure to oxygen. And then we need to have a source. And in this instance, the source is going to be a high carbon piece of steel and a piece of flint rock. Now we are going to cheat just a little bit and use what's called char cloth. And char cloth is nothing more than a piece of cotton cloth that has been heated up. I don't know if you can see that in my hand or not. Most of it's kind of blowing away here. But the char cloth is nothing more than a piece of cotton cloth that has been heated to almost burning, so it has a nice char. And the reason we like to use that is it takes a cloth, or it takes, takes a spark very nicely, kind of like a piece of charcoal. From there, we can get that to spread across the char cloth, and we can pick it up and put it in our oakum tinder and blow on it, and all of a sudden you'll see a poof, and that'll be the combustion reaction when everything ignites. So that's what we hope to have happen. So in just a little bit, we'll give it a shot.